What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we are back with a lovely update about Starter Deck 21. Bandai seem to be doing this thing where they are drip feeding us information. We get a reveal in a magazine, but we don't know a huge amount about it. Then we get the official reveal on the website, but they're not showing us any cards, they're just giving us a bunch of information. And then we get these fairly rubbishy images of a couple of cards, but you know what? It's better than nothing. And now apparently Bandai have turned around and gone, you know what? They've been good. Our fans have been nice. Now we can actually show them the cards. So now we've got some nice proper images here of just, well, the cards. Including some we hadn't talked about before and some that we previously had. So we can take a look at Monkey D. Luffy here. We've got the leader, and we finally have, a nice clear scan of Luffy and what it does. And our translation previously was correct. We got 5,000 power, 5 life, 4 emperors, straw hat pirate, mono red, and we got Don X1, activate main once per turn. Give one of your characters up to 2 rested Don. And of course, we can make a couple little parallels here. Like one parallel that I made the other day was your Starter Deck 1 Luffy, which gives a leader or character a rested Don. But it's only one rested Don, but you don't have to Don X1, and you can give to your leader. Whereas on the new Luffy, you do have to Don X1, and you can't give to your leader, but it's 2 rested Don. I prefer the new Luffy. I think it gives you a bit more power. Having to attach it onto Luffy does make it a little bit slower, but I still think it's pretty good. I have also seen people making comparisons to the Monkey the Dragon leader, the one that came around in OP07, because that one, of course, activate main once per turn, give up to 2 total of your currently given Don cards to one of your characters. So this is where you attach Don, use it, and then move it over to somebody else. But honestly, me personally, if I'm playing Revolutionary Army, I'm playing Bello Betty. I will give up the 1 life so that I can also play yellow cards and also gain the essentially 9k boost, 3k to 3 characters. So yeah, I'm not playing Monkey the Dragon anytime soon. I know some people might disagree, and that's absolutely fine. I like this Luffy. I think this Luffy's pretty good. But we also got a nice clear look at Zoro. And Zoro was one the other day where we did talk about it, and we thought we knew what it did. But I think it's fair to say that we didn't have all the information. We were missing a lot of the information. It was one of those where we did the best we could, and we thought we were doing pretty well. But it was still a very, very, very blurry look at the card. And it's actually a little bit better than we thought. The prevailing theory the other day was that, well, here's what it does. So it's Don X2, this character gains Rush. That's what we thought it was the other day. And now that we've got a good look at the character, we can confirm that is exactly what it does. That is where we are. Wonderful. But the second skill says that on KO, you may play from your hand a 6,000 power or less red character other than Roanoa Zoro. Now, that is not what we had the other day. We had a 5,000 power or less red character on play. It's a 6,000 power or less on KO. Well, yeah, I mean, these things happen. And I was very, very clear when I told you the other day, we had an incredibly blurry picture of Zoro. I gave you the best interpretation that we had at the time. And I didn't just do it, I did do it myself. But I didn't just do it myself. I had a look around and saw what other people were saying, and other people were giving the same translation. It's fine, these things happen, it's why I'm here correcting myself. Functionally, it's very, very similar to what we said the other day, but it's both better and worse. Having the KO skill is a bit annoying compared to a play skill, but then getting a character KO'd and replacing it is pretty cool. But 6k rather than 5k is pretty gosh darn nice. And obviously there's a wonderful combo here. Don X2 gains Rush. Well, your leader Luffy can give it to Don and therefore give it Rush, which is awesome, but you do need 5 Don to make this work, 4 to play the Zoro, and then 1 to put on Luffy, your leader, so that you can then put the 2 rested Don onto Zoro, but then you got a 5k with Rush and you got the counter as well. That's pretty cool. And now we know it's a KO skill 6k or less red character other than Zoro. We can look at some options for characters we want to play using this on play skill. And the other day I told you Nefertari Vivi, which incidentally I still feel pretty good about. And one thing I like about Nefertari Vivi is you don't need to do anything with Vivi. It just sits there and you don't need to use it or rest it or do anything. It just sits there giving Rush to all of your red characters of a cost of 3 or more. Although, of course, with Zoro not being an on-play skill, you can't play Zoro, play Vivi, and then give it Rush, because, of course, you can only play Vivi on the KO of Zoro, at which point it's too late to give it Rush. But then your next Zoro can have Rush, and a bunch of other characters can as well. It's still a pretty nice option. But there are a bunch of others that people are suggesting, which I tend to agree with, are the Wapol from OP08. And again, if I'm playing a 6k or less character for free, I want to be trying to play a 6k character. That's my goal here, because that's going to give me the most value out of my skill. And what Wapol does here quite nicely is Don X1 when attacking, give one of your opponent's characters minus 2k during this turn, and then this character gains 2k until the end of your opponent's next turn. So it essentially turns into an 8k that's nerfing one of your opponents by 2k, and you're playing it for free. That's pretty gosh darn nice. If we're sticking to 6k characters, obviously the Monkey D. Luffy from Starter Deck 1, not the leader we talked about a second ago, but the character becomes an awesome option because, I mean, firstly, you're getting the most value here, which is lovely. But you've just got Rush, no mucking about, no if this, if that malarkey, just gains Rush. But also Don X2, when attacking, your opponent cannot activate Blocker during this battle. But of course, you've got a leader that gives 2 Don to one of your characters. I mean, this one is one of the most obvious ones you could use here, frankly. It needs 2 Don, your leader gives you 2 Don. It's got 6k, which gives you the maximum value from your skill that can play a 6k or lower. And it's got Rush, and everyone loves Rush. So obviously a big fan of this one. And then if we're looking at 6k, I mean, Ain is quite nice. Again, we're talking OP07, fairly recent card. The lack of counter makes me sad, but on play you get to set your opponent's power to 0, or one of them at least, one of their characters. Get some 0 power for the turn, which is quite nice. So that's quite cool. People like Vampire Gaming over on Twitter have suggested Ain. It's not my favourite, but I know it's one that a bunch of people are suggesting, so I thought it was worth pointing out. I'm more of a fan of Luffy and Vivi, but that's just me. Either way, this looks like a very, very nice card. But wait, there's more. We've also got a brand new event card, which is something along the lines of Gum Gum Mulgun. And what we've got here is a 4-cost card, and then as a main, you give one of your opponent's characters minus 5,000 power for the turn. Then, if you've got a 6,000 power or higher character in play, you get to KO a 2,000 power or less character. As a trigger, you just activate the main, so do the same thing. This is good. Firstly, minus 5k, it's not going to put everything down to 0, but it's going to do a lot here. This is going to have a big impact in terms of making one of your opponent's characters super weak. But then you also get to KO a 2k or less, bearing in mind, Red loves playing characters that lower power. Red has always loved playing characters at lower power. Atama from OP01 has seen a huge amount of play since the game came out, and that's a counter plus 2k that lowers power by 2k. It's a great card. Red love lowering power, so it's one of those things when we're KOing a 2k or less. It is a 2k or less, but that's after you've gone to all the whole lowering your opponent's power malarkey, which I think is a very good thing. This seems like a very nice card. Lowering power, removing a character, it just seems very, very nice. This deck is building up to look very, very, very nice indeed. Can't guarantee it's going to be busted or anything like that. We need to wait a little bit. We need to have the cards out and play with them and all of that. And we've only seen 3 cards from the deck. So, little bit of patience might be in order here. But I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, this is looking good. They did also show us off some sleeves. And if you have a close little look here, you will notice that the art here on the sleeves is very much the same as the Luffy we see on the front of the box. The art is way too small for us to be able to, on the front of the box, for us to be able to see what it does. So we know we're getting some sleeves, which is cool. And it's nice that we got the artwork, but we don't have any idea what this actually does now, do we? No, we don't. So there we go. That's Starter Deck 21. We've got some lovely art. We've got a lovely event card. We got confirmation of Zoro that looks like a great card and confirmation of Luffy, which I'm a little bit excited about. I think could be quite good. But I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would ya? Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.